Welcome back to the channel, and firstly I must apologize for my previous video ending so abruptly. What happened was I didn't realize that the timer on my video or on my camera had been set to 15 minutes and I didn't realize it. So I got to 15 minutes recording and the thing stopped recording. But when I realized that it was getting late and I needed to edit the video and there just wasn't enough time to film the last little piece over, so what I've decided to do is to make an entire video on that last few minutes that I was going to record. By putting it into a video of its own, I've got a lot more time to talk about it. So we are still on the subject of tires. As you can see, I've got my BF Goodrich 265 wide all-terrains here. This is off my vehicle at the moment. If you have a keen eye, you might notice I've got the car on jacks at the moment. That's a subject for another day. I'm busy making a video on what I'm doing there. But let's get back to the tires. I want to talk about the debate between fat and skinny tires. Now, as I said, this is a 265 wide, this is a 12.5 inches wide. It equates to about a 50 odd millimeter difference in width, or just over 2 inches, a small bit over 2 inches. These ones are about 2 inches wider than these. So now let's get to the theory of contact patch when you lower tire pressures. Now it's basically accepted that when you lower the pressure on a tire, the contact patch really doesn't get any wider. I accept that. It gets longer. As the tire gets flatter, it really gets longer, unless you want to let it completely down and it's resting on its sidewalls, then it gets wider, but you're not going to drive it like that. So the contact patch basically stays as wide as the tread blocks are, and it gets longer when you lower it down. Now, if you do the same with this one, say we lower this to call it the optimum pressure for the terrain. You're going to be driving over sand and you lower these tires to what you would consider the best pressure for the terrain. You do exactly the same with these. If your vehicle is X weight, it weighs, call it 3 tons. If you have 3 tons, we're only going to be talking about one wheel now. I know you're going to divide your weight of the vehicle up between the wheels in the ratio that the weight is distributed in the vehicle. But let's just say we've got 3 tons resting on this wheel. You lower it, the contact patch gets longer, not wider, and you end up with a certain area of contact patch, certain size, length and breadth. Let's just say it's perfectly square. We're not going to argue about the details now. You're going to end up with a certain area. The same with this. Now, because this already starts off 2 inches wider than this, if I lower the pressure of this to what would be the optimum pressure for the terrain, and it is my theory that a bigger wheel, as I said in my previous video, a slightly more balloon tire, you can lower to lower the pressure lower than you can with a narrower tire. The reason I say that is because you are already starting with a bigger contact patch, which means that the narrower tire is going to sink deeper into the sand than this one for starters, before you even lower the pressure. Once you've lowered the pressure, yes, this one also gets longer, not wider, and you're going to end up with a bigger. Ratio-wise, I think the percentage increase in contact patch is going to be bigger for the big balloon tire than this one. Remember, this is also 2 inches bigger in diameter than these. So for a given weight, that 3 tons we were talking about, you've got a much bigger contact patch with that 3 tons resting on it. That means the pressure per square centimeter or whatever is less than what it is on this one. Therefore, this one is not going to sink into the sand as deep as this one. Which brings me to the subject of, or the theory of, the bow wave that the tire will push in front of it in the sand. And it does happen. If you look in slow motion of a tire rolling through soft sand, you will see a little bow wave in front of it. It does push up a little heap of sand in front of it. Now, for a tire that is sinking into the sand, this one, with a given width, it is going to push deeper into the sand. It's going to sink deeper into the sand than this one. Therefore, bow wave that it pushes up, in my opinion, is going to be slightly higher than this one, but slightly narrower. In other words, this one is going to push up a shallower bow wave, but slightly wider, which in my opinion, sort of, as if you consider that to be the only rolling resistance of the wheel, I think it will be a wash at the end of the day. So the theory, in my opinion, that skinny tires are better in sand, I don't entirely agree with. I think these are, as far as just getting stuck is concerned, or getting bogged as they call it, I think a bigger, wider tire is definitely going to be better. Where the narrower ones, the narrower one will fare better, in my opinion, is steering. Because they are sinking into the sand, they are cutting a groove into the sand deeper than what these will, and they will therefore steer better. You'll be able to steer the vehicle better, and obviously the faster you go, the better they will steer than these. That's my opinion anyway. I thought I'd just finish that video off. This is not very long. I could have finished it in my previous video, but as I told you, I lost the footage. So that's my theory on tires, and that is one of the reasons why I'm going for the 33 by 12.5 by 15s. And yeah, I think it's a good choice in tire. It really looks good. Having the 15-inch rims makes for the balloon tire, and as I said earlier, you can lower them down earlier. You can deflate them a lot more, and create that big contact patch on the sand. And I just like the way they look. They just look fantastic, especially when they've got some decent tread blocks on them. So I'm hoping to be able to get, as I said, I've got 6 of these rims, the rims that are in here. You've seen the rims in the previous video. I've got 6 of them, and I now need to buy 6 mud tires. I want to put mud terrains on them, but 6 mud terrains. I'd love to get a set of BF Goodrich mud terrains on there, KO3s I think they are. Right now that I don't have whatever it's going to cost to put them on. They are extremely expensive. I know they last fairly long, especially with my driving style. I'm not an aggressive driver, but still, I do not have that kind of money at the moment to buy a new set of wheels. But these are going to do until then. I still have to take all of these tires off the rims and redo the rims themselves, paint them to the color scheme that I showed you earlier. And yeah, that's my story, or that's my take on tires. As far as the Land Cruiser is concerned, as I said, I'm busy filming a video that, in my opinion, will be the only instructional how-to video on a semi-floating axle. I can't find any on the internet or on YouTube anywhere. So I am busy sorting out a problem that developed, that started to become very noticeable. Basically just wear and tear, but something I was really worried about. And now that I've got it up on jacks and I've opened it up, I'm now waiting for some parts, and once I've got those parts, I will finish the recording. And when I'm finished showing you what I've done, what I've found, you will know how to handle a semi-floating axle, how to repair it, what to look for, and how they work. It was a mystery to me until I actually basically did my own research and opened it up so that I can see for myself. I am mechanically minded. I have an aptitude for mechanics, and I grew up basically in a family that my father was mechanically minded. I was an artisan my whole life, so I've got a lot of experience with working with my hands. So believe me, once I've done the video and edited it, you will know exactly how a semi-floating axle diff works, and you will be able to work on it and fix it yourself. So until then, remember, don't buy it, build it yourself. I'll catch you in the next one.